All right, Kahoot, looks like we're live.
Awesome. Welcome everyone to the Cisco Live Day 2 debrief with your local Bay Area Cisco team. With me, I am Kuhu Sharma. I'm a leader in the Bay Area, and with me is an awesome group of experts today. So super excited to discuss this second day with you. And if you're live with us on YouTube, post in the comments how you thought the last 2 days went. And of course, if you've got any questions, post those for us as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a roundtable and hear from some of these experts. And Matt, I'm going to hand it to you.
Yeah, hey guys, welcome today. Looks like we got about 10 people on right now. Definitely post questions, just like yesterday. We love your questions. We're going to be giving away cool Cisco swag for people to ask great questions. So looking for that first question. But I think today, a couple things that really stuck out with to me was we do a lot of surveying at Cisco, like to hear from our customers. And one survey that we did, and it was pretty eye-opening, is that all of our customers, that we surveyed, said that they are going to reduce their physical footprint by 30%. And so I think that's a big statement. That's a lot of real estate. That's a lot of different ways that people are going to be working. And I think we've definitely been helping our customers transition to that type of environment. We call it hybrid, where you're in the office, some are in the office, some are at home still, and you all need to collaborate and work together. And so in that same session, our main collaboration platform, like we're using today, Webex, which we're actually streaming, we're using to stream to YouTube to you guys. So another cool feature. One little tidbit there is we actually delivered since September 400 plus new features to Webex. So if you haven't gotten an update on Webex and all the things we're building into it, for instance, I click this little button here and say noise cancellation. I can have my two beagles barking like crazy next to me and you guys would never hear it, which is a very common thing in home meetings, right, that we've seen over time. So pretty cool innovation that we're doing. So I'll just kick it over now to Darren to kind of fill us in on some of his top of minds and introduce himself.
Absolutely. Thanks, Matt. I'm Darren Sobey, collaboration specialist here in the Bay Area. And I don't have a beagle problem, but yeah, some of the new updates to WebEx are exciting to me being the collaboration guy. So thanks for pointing that out, Matt. But yeah, what I was really excited about at Cisco Live was hearing about more about our story on enabling intelligent hybrid workspaces, both for the home office as well as the corporate office. Would love to do a little quick poll with you guys if you guys are watching out there. Love to hear how many of you guys are expecting to have 100% people go back into the office in the next 12 months. I'd imagine that the results would be pretty low. I think that the plan here, that the pandemic brought everybody home. I don't think that's sustainable, that everybody's going to be outside the corporate office. To Matt's point, our surveys are showing that we're expecting a reduction of corporate real estate footprint by like 30%. So we think that the home office 100% isn't the sustainable future. We don't think everybody's going to go back to the corporate office 100% full time. We think that the future of work is really a hybrid future of work, where you're going to have people coming into the office to collaborate and to do projects, not to sit there and bang on the keyboard and answer emails. So one of the things that I was very interested in, I'm going to share a slide here, was just the way that we at Cisco are so uniquely positioned to really help our customers with this hybrid future of work. So we've got a whole plethora of devices that we've launched in the last, 3 months or so, that WebEx 1, that are really designed to help the home office. So we have devices that can drop on somebody's desk, can be an all-in-one unit that can be a second monitor as well as a video conferencing device. And then we've got other devices that we can help for people who already have some segment of that already down. So we have a webcam that we've launched called the WebEx camera that is super good. There was a demo of it live. If you guys didn't see it, you should check it out. It does a super good job of providing high quality video in less than ideal lighting conditions. So when we're going home, people aren't necessarily always thinking about how to best video equip themselves. They were just grabbing their laptops and coming home and doing that out of necessity. So Now we've got these cameras and these all-in-one devices that can help you from a video standpoint at home. We've got, as Paul and Matt are modeling for us, and Justin too, we've got headsets that can help with audio privacy from that perspective too. So got all sorts of stuff to help with the home office. During live, we talked a lot about what we can do around some new features on our video endpoints that Paul might discuss in a minute here, as well as some new capabilities around our ability to use our AI to schedule meeting rooms and do things in a low touch environment. So yeah, really excited about how Cisco from as a company is really uniquely positioned to not only attack the video portions of this, but with our enterprise networking and our Meraki cameras and things like that, we can really give you a holistic, safe return to work play for the corporate office as well as the home office. So Paul, I think you were going to talk a little bit more about one of my favorite announcements, one of the best innovations we're announcing for Collab, right?
I think I definitely am. Hey, I'm Paul Gately. I'm a systems architect here in the Bay Area. And yeah, Darren, I fully am going to talk about one of your favorite features. As everybody goes back and hybrid work is becoming the norm, I think we've all experienced this where you join a conference call and everybody's there in the conference room and you get the big long view of the conference table with everybody sitting around it. And it really feels like you're disconnected from that experience. And one of the features that they talked about today that I'm really excited about is the focus framing feature powered by the camera insights in Webex. And what that does is that instead of the big long conference table view with everybody sitting around it, the camera actually focuses on each individual person and then puts up their 4 people up in the grid view. So that instead of seeing the conference table, you're seeing the 4 people who are sitting around the conference table. And it would be very similar to what you're seeing here on this meeting is the 6 the Brady Bunch view, if you will, of the meeting. So it really makes you feel like you're a part of the meeting. You're not being excluded from what's going on in the conference room. And I'm really looking forward to that as we move into this hybrid environment going probably starting this summer when everybody goes back. And with that, I think I will pass it off to Justin.
So Paul, I had one question about that. So when they actually break out that video, are they going to keep it the same when you go to sharing too? Because I have a problem right now where when we share, sometimes people get cropped off, so I don't get to see their expressions.
Yeah, so the screenshots that they showed in the presentation today was, when you share a slide, you get the slide view as the primary view, and then along the top of the screen, you're going to see each individual person still just in that same breakout view. So it shouldn't break out to the conference table. Yeah.
So you'll actually be able to see everybody in the meeting, even if they're sharing something. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to switch gears here and talk a little bit about data center. So we were having a fun this last 2 days with Intersight. Intersight was the focus of a lot of the data center conversations we had at Cisco Live. And it's really, I think the takeaway here is that Intersight is no longer, or it isn't, and probably never was, but in the beginning, people thought of Intersight as like just a way to manage our hardware. But what we highlighted this time around was it's really not. It's a product in itself that can focus on just managing your workloads anywhere they are, if they're on-prem or in the cloud. We can look at VMs, we can look at we can do Kubernetes management now too, Peter. Like Pete's going to talk about that in a second. So it's really mind blowing, like where we've taken Intersight in terms of like it becoming a management platform beyond just hardware. It's now can manage basically all your software needs. And with that, Pete, I'm going to introduce you, our data center specialist with our team. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, hi, Pete Kisich. I'm a data center technical solutions architect here at Cisco. And yeah, you're right. This has really moved now to a cloud platform. And my background is actually in cloud. I had previously worked at AWS as a solutions architect there before coming over to Cisco. And our focus is around this whole idea of not only providing an easy to manage global solution for your Cisco gear, but also incorporating both third-party products as well as cloud services within our platform. And that's really the kind of takeaway from this Cisco Live on Intersight itself. So if you look at the platform itself, Let me switch here. So if you look at the platform itself, it'll allow you to not only, again, see that global view of your Cisco UCS and HyperFlex infrastructure, and be able to build and compose that infrastructure on site, but it'll actually allow you to do that same automation and deployment in cloud as well, and run and optimize those resources and those workloads across both your on-premise and cloud environments. And when you talk about cloud environments, we cover Amazon AWS, we have VMware on-premise, we have Azure support, and very soon we'll have Google Cloud as well as a platform you can manage and run and optimize workloads from the Intersight cloud operating platform that's delivered as a SaaS service in cloud. So there's really, one of the beauties of this model is that there's no agents to install, there's no instances or proxies to install in cloud. We communicate directly with the third-party cloud providers as well as the third-party products that we're supporting on premise to give you that holistic view and an easy deploy manage. And then as we add new features and services in cloud, they'll be instantly available to you in this platform as well. So that's a key feature to cloud platforms in general, is to allow you to get new features instantly from the deployment of a SaaS-based solution. And so that's a little bit about the Intersight operating platform. Now, the two services that we've really focused on for this particular week is the two services. The first being Intersight Workload Optimizer, which will look at the actual utilization of the infrastructure you've deployed on premise as well as in cloud, and give you optimization suggestions about how you can reduce the cost of that infrastructure, or where you might need more infrastructure to support growing and scaling out workloads. So you'll see those suggestions within that optimizer service, as well as actually being able to automate the optimization of those products through movement, through instance remediation, through storage remediation in your cloud or on premise. So just a wide swath of capabilities here to optimize your infrastructure. I presented this in a full demo to a customer this week, and he said, "This kind of looks like magic," and it really does. It kind of looks magical to customers to get these type of insights across a hybrid environment. And by hybrid, I mean on-premise as well as multi-cloud, so multiple cloud providers, and seeing that centralized view and optimization are really beneficial for our customers. The other service I wanted to mention real quickly, Justin had touched on, which is the Kubernetes service. So with Kubernetes service, you'll be able to manage the life cycle of your Kubernetes clusters on-premise as well as in cloud for base Kubernetes, 100% Kubernetes upstream services. So from a developer standpoint, the folks using these Kubernetes environments, it's going to look like Kubernetes to them. They'll really see no change. But from a IT ops perspective, you'll be able to manage and have insights and deploy very quickly these clusters based on policies that you set, based on infrastructure that you're utilizing, whether it be in cloud or on premise, and then managing the life cycle of when you want those resources to be moved or changed within this environment. And then you'll get even further insights through IWO to your container platform and how the utilization of that container platform is really going. That's typically something that IT ops hasn't had a lot of visibility for. So this tool will really help that transition.
Yeah, and Pete, I watched a couple of the sessions too, and one thing on Intersight that I found really cool to see was the integrations, like just the integration between IWO and AppD, for instance. Like if you're an AppD customer, being able to correlate, application type performance and code performance data with your, the IWO, optimizer data, and just being able to have that integration. To take action quickly, right? And just all the orchestration automation that can be done there was pretty exciting for me to see. I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so valuable in cloud because that you're talking about instant savings when you're doing optimization in cloud. On premise, that's been a little more of a challenge, right? Because it's infrastructure that you've already placed there. But another important announcement on the data center side from Cisco is something called Cisco Plus. And with Cisco Plus, that's a new cost model for customers to acquire and utilize technology. So you pay only for what you consume from a resource perspective from those on-premise resources. Also, it was referred to in some of the press releases that I saw as networking as a service, right? So customers can just consume networking as they need and as is required for their infrastructure. So they'll have that elasticity that you see in cloud through Cisco Plus. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. And that really fits into our whole direction around data center and data center optimization.
So theoretically, Pete, like every customer could consume our products and our services and software basically as a service with Cisco Plus, right?
That's right. That's right. That's ultimately where we want to go with all of our products. We want the customers to have the flexibility of a subscription-based, on-demand licensing model. So we already have the tools in place to allow customers to do that optimization, and then we're going to have the back-end cost model for customers to really take advantage of it, whether it be in cloud or on premise.
I think about some of my customers that have, open enrollment or busy times of the year, and they need resources, right? And that oftentimes has pushed them to maybe public cloud or something like that. But there's a tax to go to the cloud, right? Once you're up there to get back out of it, and just in general, right? So to be able to consume hardware as a service in general is pretty. It's gonna solve a lot of problems. A lot of cool use cases for our customers.
That's right. As a systems architect in the data center, we often had to look at that peak and we had to architect for the peaks. And that's what we had to purchase. And so now you have the flexibility of purchasing much less infrastructure up front and then only paying for it as you scale for those peak periods. Definitely a great point, Matt.
Yeah, we have a question. It's probably a good time to address it because I think you were just kind of talking about it, Pete. But the question is, does Cisco Intersight, does it have estimates for running infrastructure, like reserving instances versus not, and help and capacity planning in general? I think that's more IWO, but I'll let you comment on that.
It is, yeah. So the Intersight workload optimizer service that runs in Intersight will do exactly that. It will show you what a lift and shift would be from a workload for on-premise to cloud, and then it will show you what an optimal configuration would look like in cloud based upon the historical usage of that particular workload. So, and it'll cost it for you, right? The nice thing about these cloud platforms is that the cost model is public, right? So we just pull that data from source and we apply cost of that infrastructure immediately to that. So yes, you have views into what your current infrastructure is costing you. We have suggestions on what should move from a on-demand instance to a reserve instance. And we have suggestions on migration and what that cost model looks like for particular workloads. All those are available in Workload Optimizer.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Do you want to go talk about the quiz and congratulate our winners, Paul, from yesterday? And let's actually ask the group here maybe the 2 hardest questions that we had, just to round off on the questions that were given, since we don't have many in the chat window yet to talk about.
Certainly. So thank you to everyone who participated in the quiz yesterday. We do have some winners, and let me pull them up here. So the winner of the quiz yesterday was the user Richter K. So he is the one who had finished the quiz with the most points. So congratulations, Richter K.
Yay.
We'll be sending you, and I believe the top 3 will be getting some Cisco swag coming their way. So thank you for participating in the quiz yesterday. We have a new quiz for today that'll be available for 24 hours as well. And the link should be was posted in the beginning and will be posted again. So please participate in the quiz again. It'll be a similar format, similar question. So if you didn't get a chance to participate yesterday, hopefully you can participate in today's quiz as well. So yeah, thank you for the quiz.
So what was the hardest question?
Oh, hardest questions. That's what I was pulling up. The hardest questions were, there were 4 of the hardest questions, and they were, let's see if you guys can get this. One was with Meraki Sensors. What do you need to install as a gateway to utilize the Meraki Sensors? The Meraki MT sensors, I should say.
I'll take that one. So it's either an MR access point or an MV camera. They just have to be in proximity. It uses Bluetooth, and you just literally put the battery in the sensor, and it automatically finds the closest gateway and uses one of them as a gateway to phone home to the Meraki dashboard. Sensors are super slick, super easy. I actually have one right here monitoring the temperature in my office. So when it gets too hot, I can text my wife and tell her to turn the temperature down because my office blares in heat. So it's pretty funny. I have it send her a text message now though through Meraki. So
that's cool.
It's actually a Wi-Fi 6 access point. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi 6 access points. Yep.
Correct. Yeah, I left that off. Maybe I didn't.
And then I guess, and then related to the discussion today, one of the other hardest questions was, and I find this one just mind blowing, was Webex can now do real-time translations from English into how many languages? Does anybody have a guess?
Well, Darren wants to answer that.
I might have a guess.
Wait, first, how many languages are there spoken in the world? Let's figure that one out first, and then we. No, just kidding. Go ahead, Darren.
You're gonna have to do some heavy googling on that one. I
think it's like 6,000, but anyways, go ahead, Darren.
We're up over 100 languages, so I believe the number is 109 if I'm remembering the exact number right.
You are correct.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that we went from having Spanish and French and just a couple and blew up to 109 languages, using some partnerships for that real-time translation. And that's the ability for me to be able to speak English, and then our foreign participants to be able to read the transcript in their native language. And like I said, 109 languages. Soon, we're still working on this, and G2 was talking about this in his keynote today. We're working on developing that and continuing the translation. So imagine not in the distant future seeing things like being able to speak a foreign language, having it translated back to English in real time, so we can have 2 different native tongue speakers in the same conversation, kind of going back and forth. And you can kind of imagine that there are some iterations past that. I wouldn't be surprised to see live translations coming to our messaging platforms as well. So a lot of interesting stuff trying to create a inclusive future for collaboration here. So good stuff.
It's pretty awesome. I think I'm going to try that with my grandma.
Record it so we can see it.
And then Pete, I don't want you to feel left out. We had a hard question on the data center side too. So that question is, how is IWO licensed?
You're muted, Pete, by the way.
Yep, it's licensed by virtual machine or instance, right, in cloud. So it's pretty straightforward from that perspective. Now, there is one situation, and that is virtual desktops, where that kind of pricing can get a little out of control. So there's a separate tier of pricing for desktops, which is less costly for the number that you have. And so that's how it's priced. Very straightforward from that perspective. It doesn't require any other Intersight licensing at all for you to utilize iWell. Intersight Workload Optimizer. We love our abbreviations at Cisco, so we'll do our best to not use those as much as possible.
Be a translation engine for all the abbreviations.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
It's a whole other language.
Some of the other options that you had in there, I think that got people confused when you had that question about how is IWO licensed. So how is IWO not licensed?
I would say that most people clicked that it was licensed per server was the most common answer, the incorrect answer. In fact, actually, nobody got that answer correct over that question. So most people selected per server versus virtual machine, which is the correct answer.
Which, if you're licensing Cisco infrastructure, that is the correct licensing model for Intersight. But the service itself within it is by VM.
So I'll give you a hint. Pete just answered one of the questions for today. So if you're taking the quiz, remember that.
That could be the difference between swag and no swag.
One question down.
Cool.
Wow. So Pete, that basically means that you don't need any Cisco products to run Intersight. That's essentially what you were saying there with the licensing, right? They don't even need to be a Cisco hardware customer.
That is correct. Really, it's the model for all of our cloud services so far, right? So it also applies to Kubernetes service. You do not need to have that running on Cisco infrastructure. You can have it running on any VMware environment in the first release.
Yeah, we've come a long way. That's a big step for us as a company. That's cool.
Yeah.
So how long is that quiz going to be active, Paul?
So it is active until 2 p.m. tomorrow. So get your answers in before 2 p.m.
And definitely make sure there's a way for us to identify you so that we can get you your prize.
That's right.
All right, I think that's bringing us to the top of the hour here. So definitely was for me, I'll just kind of say my goodbyes to everyone. Thank you for all joining, and it was just a great 2 days. Cisco Live content, definitely different. Hopefully next year we can all see you somewhere and hang out and have the cool fun we did. We tried to make it fun with a little quiz, like we would do the scavenger hunts and stuff. So appreciate everyone's participation and joining Cisco Live as well.
And if you were like me and you had some FOMO sticking to one channel while all those other sessions were going on, just know that all of those sessions are available up till I think July 2. So there's about 450 sessions available for continued learning. So the learning doesn't stop.
Yep, learning continues. That's awesome. And I just want to say thank you to my colleagues, Kuhu, Paul, and Matt for putting this all on, and Darren and Pete for jumping on with us today. It was awesome. It's always fun to get together and just talk shop. So thanks, guys.
And most importantly, thanks to everyone for watching our stream. So thank you very much for coming and seeing us.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.